waiting for Sliwa. We should talk potential residency address. This Cuomo actually live in the city, so he'll be coming up soon. And that's the question,
Thanks for coming. My wife Nancy has joined me because we are very close with a group of Voices for Seniors that represents so many of the thousands of elderly who died as a result of then Governor Andrew Cuomo's executive order in March of 2025. And let me just say, yesterday was a very important day with 34 days to go, when Governor Cuomo finally began his apology tour for all the horrible things that he did when he was governor during the lockdown and pandemic. He took the time on Yom Kippur to do his Day of Atonement to the Orthodox community for the way he treated them with his lockdown and pandemic. And that was good. We all have a lot to apologize for in our lives. Here's a man who never apologized for anything. Omnipotent, obnoxious, always vicious, always looking to score points with vendettas. Well, maybe this is a new turn of a leaf. Always like to give people the benefit of the doubt that maybe he had a epiphany instead of a political epiphany, thinking that this would get him into Gracie Mansion and City Hall. But now that he has begun this process, he cannot stop. The most egregious of all the things that he did during that lockdown and pandemic was to the broader number of seniors that were held captive as a result of his executive order in 2025. And I know it well because I remember I was on WABC at that time. And I'm listening to the Mark Levin show after my shift, national show. And a woman calls up from Westchester, the doctor, who is running a senior citizen long-term nursing home care unit. And if you remember, that was right in the hot zone at the time, White Plains. And she very eloquently said, I want to share with your audience the executive order that I just received yesterday. And she read it word for word. And I remember I was dumbstruck. I could not believe that somebody would actually issue an executive order to take patients who had COVID, who were elderly, transfer them out of hospitals, where it was difficult to care for them even at that point, and then transfer them into long-term nursing home care units. I remember in following days, people, whether they were Democrat, Republican, or Independent, said, this is crazy. This is actually sending
for mayor.
These elderly potentially to their death, because remember how people were going, being diagnosed, and then even those that were healthy would eventually end up coming out in a body bag. And yet the governor would not in any way, shape, or form retreat on that executive order.
He's talking about Cuomo.
And from that day forward, he had the responsibility of the deaths of those elderly, numbering close to 15,000. Every step of the way, he never indicated in any way, shape, or form that that order was culpable, or that he had made a mistake, or even to suggest that in the panic that we know consumed that time, we really didn't know the extent of what this virus, this disease would do. And yes, he, his healthcare czar, and his aide-de-camp, Melissa DeRosa, had made many steps along the way. Refused to do that. So Voices for Seniors, that represents a panoply of different people. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Democrats, Republicans, Independents. Just basically said, meet with us. We want to have conversation and dialogue with you. You did wrong by our parents. And he would always refuse stubbornly in an omnipotent way. So I'm thinking that with the letter, it was issued by Congressman Mike Lawler and backed up by key members of the New York congressional delegation, Stefanik and others, going directly to Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and to Dr. Oz, part of the healthcare establishment of our federal government, that they would at least issue a report as to whether they were following the CDC guidelines. That's the least that could be done at this point. Did they or did they not, the Cuomo administration, follow the federal guidelines? Now I realize for RFK Jr. it may be very difficult because of his relation by marriage. He ought to recuse himself if in fact he's not able to be independent and autonomous, and leave his deputy secretary to make that determination. But I think everybody needs that. But even beyond that, we know what happened. We know that Andrew Cuomo, in testimony before a congressional subcommittee, both privately behind closed doors and then publicly, claimed that he did not know what was in his executive order. If there's one thing you know about Andrew Cuomo, he's anal. He microscopically knows everything, and he does not delegate. That's been his history. But he said publicly he didn't know what was in his executive order until maybe a month later. Okay, a month later, he still did nothing. People were still dying on your watch. So I think it's incumbent upon him now that he has begun the process of his internal search, to clean the stain off of his record. And this is the mightiest stain of all. He might revert to what his father used to do, Mario. I might add, I knew Mario. Andrew is no Mario. Who was always accused of being the Hamlet on the Hudson because he would sit and he would think and he would dwell and he would delve into a situation and on occasion apologize, do the right thing. Something his son has refused to do other than yesterday. So maybe this will trigger off him saying, whether for political gain or more importantly, just to do the right thing. Yesterday, I apologized to the Orthodox community for what I did to them during the lockdown and pandemic. But now the broader group, the voices of seniors, that he has labeled a Republican right-wing conspiracy against him. Please, if you know the Armeni brothers, as I know them in downtown Brooklyn, they're about as liberal as you can get. I remember when I went to the gathering commemorating the death of the 15,000 and stood with my adversaries who were all running in the Democratic primary. I remember how Peter and his brothers said that their first votes were for Mario Cuomo, running for mayor in 1977 against Ed Koch. And then for Mario Cuomo, running for governor in the Democratic primary in 1982 against Ed Koch. That one he won, the mayoralty he lost. So stop this. It's not a right-wing conspiracy. It's not a Republican conspiracy. I think one thing we can all agree is I am the most active on the campaign trail. I go into the most number of neighborhoods. I'll give you just a little thumbnail sketch last night. I was in Baisley Pond Park, the community center, addressing black female issues that are unique to their community. Most of the crowd there that Cheryl Willis was the moderator for, from New York One, were elderly African-American women.
Thanks, Christina.
I can't tell you afterwards how many of them said, I can't get over the fact that Adrienne Adams, who represents that area as the city councilwoman and the speaker of the council, has told all of us that her own father died as a result of that executive order when he was transferred out of Elmhurst Hospital, eventually to succumb and die like so many others. That was the number one thing from what should have been a very favorable crowd to Andrew Cuomo. By the way, neither he or Zohran Mamdani showed up. Afterwards was the 10th day of a Hindu holiday. I went to a nearby Hindu temple, paid respects to them. And afterwards, many of the elderly women came up to me and likewise said, I can't get over the fact that Andrew Cuomo will not take any responsibility for some of those who died from this temple as a result of being transferred into long-term nursing home care units. If he intends to become mayor, with now 33 days to go, I can only warn him as an adversary. This is probably the biggest issue that I face on the campaign trail. In ethnic areas, black areas, white areas, Asian areas, it doesn't matter where I go. It's the number one question that is brought to my attention by the senior citizen community, and as you know, they vote. They vote proportionally in greater numbers generally than millennials and Gen Zers did, except in this past primary where Zohran Mamdani won. So today, I not only appeal to Andrew Cuomo to do the right thing, meet with voices of seniors, talk to them, listen to them as they cry in pain, and then sit down and do the right thing. And just as you did a video to the Jewish Orthodox community on the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, and acknowledged you were wrong. Acknowledge you were wrong. Acknowledge you were wrong. You finally have broken through to the other side. Stubbornness, arrogance, being omnipotent, being vicious, vindictive, waging in vendettas. Who knows? Just maybe in the last 33 days, he's had an epiphany and turned a leaf. So I've handwritten a letter to my adversary, Andrew Cuomo, which I will deliver to the front desk. This is the purported residence of Andrew Cuomo. I'm assuming it's accurate. And I will, again, in this letter, as I have said to all of you, appeal to whatever humanity may still exist in his cold-hearted manner, that if you have any humanity left in your system, other than being the political animal that you've always been, apologize. It's good for the soul.
Please subscribe.
Whether you win or lose, it's good for the soul. One day we all go up to our Maker. You're going to have to answer for this, Andrew. There are thousands and thousands of family members who will never forgive you. I can only let you know that Nancy has personally herself recognized these people, they just want to have him meet with them. There was a chance in the public hearing up on Congressional Hill when they all sat behind him and they were respectful. And his own Democrats said, "Turn, damn it! Look them in the eye!" And he refused to. Refused to do it. And continued to blame some vast right-wing conservative conspiracy that it was all lies. And to his aide-de-camp, Melissa DeRosa, his most trusted aide-de-camp, guardian of the gates to get to Andrew Cuomo, in her own words, in a conference that she did with legislative leaders of the Democratic Party, it was shared with the world. She acknowledged to them that they lied, that they cooked the books, they downgraded the number of fatalities. She took responsibility. She fell on the sword. She said Cuomo took responsibility because they feared being indicted by Jeff Sessions, who was then the U.S. attorney for the first Trump administration. In her own words, it's time to apologize. It's time to turn this page on this chapter as we have 33 days to go. On this Yom Kippur, he's done his atonement to the Orthodox community. It's time to do his atonement to the broader community that represents so many different groups. And up until now, he has refused to do it. Any questions?
Anything you want to atone for?
Oh, I've atoned for so many things in my lifetime. My life is an open book.
Come on, we're closing the book. We're closing the book. Pick something from the past year that you feel you'd like to.
Atonement in the last year, which I caused somebody's unnecessary death. I don't believe so.
Anything.
Oh my God, I apologize to my wife 3 times a day. I atone for so many things that I don't do. I should have done better. Those of you who have relationships, no matter what your relationships are, know that the only way to deal with a relationship is to atone for what you could have done, should have done, and maybe done better. But I don't know of anything egregious in the past year, and certainly nothing to this level. I mean, this involves life and death. Any other questions?
Yeah, you have a general estimate on the total number of deaths that occurred amongst seniors because of Cuomo's lack of efforts, I suppose, or over-aggressive efforts?
Well, there are various figures. There are those that have suggested as many as 15,000. Some say more, some say less. Tish James issued a report in which it had nothing to do with the sexual harassment claims. That's a whole separate issue. He's probably going to have to do atonement for that, but that's separate from this. About how he undercut the numbers. His own staff members at the time testified before Congress that he undercut the numbers, and he lied. And in fact, as you know, Janine Pirro, who is now the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia Department of Justice, has the Department of Justice report that suggests that he be charged with perjury because he did lie in the congressional hearings. He had a member of his own staff actually say that before he went and testified behind closed doors, that Cuomo tried to personally nourish his memory. Nourish his memory. Boy, that goes back to the days of Bill Clinton. Remember when he had to nourish the memory of his secretary about what had happened between him and Monica Lewinsky. This had nothing to do with sexuality. This has simply to do with the fact that a key person subpoenaed to testify before Congress was being told, this is what you should say. You know, that's a crime in itself. He hasn't been charged with that. But when you try to manipulate somebody's testimony, that strikes me as what has been done through the years in organized crime. Any other questions?
If no one else got one, the camera guys? All right, good. There was a moment that I wasn't there for that. There was a moment that kind of went around on social media. You're in a neighborhood talking to a woman, kind of like stop deep theft, and she blamed the Jews. And when a reporter asked you about it, you said, you know, oh, I got to listen to everyone. I got to listen. I know you're a great listener. You get this message here since Mayor Wagner, but how come you didn't say, hey, look, deep theft is a bigger problem. You shouldn't blame it on the Jews. You're just afraid to confront her, agree with her. What happened there?
No, I don't agree with that. In fact, I recognize that woman. She has been on a mission with others. And in fact, the New York Times published a huge story in which she was a victim of deep theft. I'm aware of the particulars. First off, the only GOP candidate ever to appear at the Apollo Theater. Michael Bloomberg was invited to come in 2005 when he was running against Freddie Ferrer. Feared going there. I was confronted by a large group outside. I calmed the situation down by listening. She ended up blaming Frank Sedia. As I said later in the conversation, I grew up with Frank Sedia, the former Democratic county leader in Kings County. He lived on my block. He's not Jewish. She then went on to blame judges. She blamed a whole panoply of people, but I calmed the situation down. It just so happens I recognized her. She was from Canarsie, which is where I grew up, and I knew of her individual case. I wasn't going to set it off right there. And I did caution her and calm her down. And in fact, yesterday at the forum that Andrew Cuomo avoided in Southeast Queens, that Zohran Mamdani avoided dealing with black women's issues, I was the only major candidate to attend. They were out there again, and I was talking with them and chastising them that maybe that was one particular issue, but you cannot blanketly indict Jews for that. Now, Jeff Colton, who initially put out that post, then put out a detailed explanation that I was not guilty of any anti-Semitism. But I am the only candidate who can actually go into all 350 neighborhoods and be well received, because what I do is listen. And that's what a mayor has to do. And you certainly don't confront people on 125th Street outside of the Apollo Theater who are angry to begin with, because none of the other candidates who showed that night, Zohran, Mamdani, Andrew Cuomo, would even stop and partake in discussion with them. It's my method of operation. And if anybody would have called me an anti-Semite, kind of difficult. My two youngest sons are Jewish. I come to the aid of the Jewish community in Crown Heights and in Borough Park when they were under attack with the guardian angels. And I certainly did not agree with her. But I knew who she was, and all you have to do is refer to the New York Times article. Unfortunately, she did have a run-in with a Jewish attorney who was found guilty of deed theft. So do you want me to start arguing with her out there with a hostile crowd that has copies of that New York Times article in their hand? No. I simmered the situation down. I cautioned her. She blamed Frank Sedio. Clearly, as you know, Frank Sedio is not Jewish and not part of any big plot against her. But she went to court and she won. That attorney was disbarred and found guilty of 9 charges of deed theft.
One more question I wanted to ask is, in the primary, the prevalent conversation was, how do you deal with Trump? And I wonder if you might be the best to deal with him, since Zohran doesn't have a lot of experience, doesn't know the people in government, doesn't know the right levers to pull. And Cuomo obviously has had a myriad of conversations with Trump. So even though you are a Republican, do you think you might effectively stand up to Trump, and how would you deal with them? I think you might have a unique perspective.
I think my advantage over those two, we know he'll be very hostile to Zohran Mamdani on every count. We know he's had a love-hate relationship with Andrew Cuomo. Their families knew one another. I no doubt they have regular conversations, although Andrew Cuomo lied about that. With me, because I have contacts within the Republican leadership, they would preemptively warn me, this is what the Trump administration is intending to do. You better sit down and try to negate the impact of these cuts. Like we saw, $18 billion cut as a result of the lockdown in government that will affect the 3 stations being built on the Q line that I was opposed to begin with. But the tunnel, the Northeast Corridor tunnel, is critical in transporting millions of people. So you try to get ahead of the curve and have the discussions with the relevant authorities. Will it work? I think it's worth a try, especially if you know what's coming down the pipe ahead of time and you try to negate the negative effect. So what I'm going to do right now is deliver my handwritten note to my adversary, Andrew Cuomo, and who knows, if it leads to a conversation with Voices for Seniors, an outstanding group, a stellar group of people that represent the panoply of different political thoughts, and they support different candidates, I would beg him, I would beseech him to end this sordid chapter in his life that has hurt hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of family members who to this day, 5 years later, have had no solace, no relief.
One more, gifted and talented. We just got it in from the New York Times. Mamdani reiterating his call. He wants to eliminate gifted and talented for kindergarten, phase it out for elementary school. Your reaction to what you do?
I actually happen to be the father of 2 young sons who tried to get access to the gifted and talented. You can wait in the assembly hall of the school where they do the testing. Both of my sons failed to get into gifted and talented. They've done quite well, thanks to the public school system. But I would not only maintain gifted and talented because I saw it up close and personal, I would expand it. So unlike Zohran Mamdani, who wants to eliminate it. And by the way, you talk about the son of privilege, who went to private schools, who went to one of the best public high schools. He took a specialty test, Bronx High School of Science, and did outstandingly well. I look at his SAT scores, I say, wow, man, I wish I had SAT scores like that. So he benefited from all that, but he wants to deprive young children who need advanced courses or they stifle in a classroom. In fact, just a side story, I was in Catholic school originally, grades 1 through 4. The Mother Superior of St. Matthew's in Crown Heights called my mother Francesca, who went to public schools, and said, you have to transfer your son out. Transfer my son out? What did he do wrong? She thought Catholic schools were superior in the 60s. They weren't. They had no advanced classes. They had 40 kids in one room, one none. Some were advanced, some were okay, some needed special attention.
Thank you, Sydney. Please.
The moment I transferred to PS114, they put me in 4A. Academically, I got my butt kicked. They didn't call it special and talented then. But oh boy, these kids were so far ahead of the curve. Either I'd start going to the library and learning about microfilm, which was the form of internet then, or I would have started dropping down to 4B, 4C, 4D, 4E, and 4F where my cousins were, because they were not studying. So even though it wasn't called gifted and talented, you really had to be able to study, you had to be able to consume a lot of information, which at those younger ages, some kids aren't yet developed and they can't. But my two sons have done extraordinarily well without having made the cut. And there are a lot of other kids too, but we shouldn't deprive kids who can get on an advanced track, no matter who they are, from being able to excel academically.
Curtis, even as we're speaking, I'm sorry, I know you want to drop the letter, but even as we're speaking now, the Rich has a party, the main spokesperson for Governor Cuomo has responded saying the AG's office, the local administration, and the after-action report by the Department of Justice Investigator General ruled that this did comply with federal guidance. He goes on to insult you. Cuomo has previously called these allegations he mishandled nursing homes political. So suffice to say, up until this very moment, literally, they've taken a combative stance. So I'm really just hoping, given that backdrop, given what's happening right now, what do you really expect to get out of dropping that letter?
Well, if he wants to win being mayor, my advice to him is he's dependent on senior citizen votes. He's not getting millennials and Gen Zers. We know that. If he doesn't resolve this with senior citizens, people my age, baby boomers, he will never be the mayor of the city. I hear it in every community meeting. As I said, I'll just repeat. Paisley Pond Park Community Center yesterday, mostly elderly African-American women. The number one question I was being asked about the nursing home care unit deaths. Adrienne Adams, who represents that, went on record as saying she blames Cuomo for the death of her father, who is a veteran of the Air Force. He doesn't get through to him. He now has shown he can apologize. Remember, this guy is the face of stone. He's got ice cold water running through his veins and arteries. He actually showed for the first time some humility in his entire life. But he won't cross the Rubicon. He won't deal with the broader issue. I think political reality may dawn upon him that if he expects to be an occupant of Gracie Mansion and City Hall, he must address this issue, because I think voices of seniors and others will pound him now on the campaign trail. He may regret having made that first apology to the Orthodox community, which I said all along he should have done. Because now that he's apologized once, how do you not apologize to others? Even if you think that maybe you did everything by the book. We know Melissa DeRosa was caught lying on his behalf. We know that Jeanine Pirro is looking at a perjury charge as U.S. Attorney of the Department of Justice in D.C. So this stuff ain't clean. So no matter which way they want to toss it, he needs to depersonalize this. He really does. In the Democratic debate, remember Peter Arbini stood with Brad Landon, and he would not apologize. Last time I looked, Brad Landon, proud member DSA, no Republican, no conservative. Is he part of that vast right-wing conservative conspiracy? Do the right thing, put the cage behind you, have a meeting, apologize. I think some would accept his apology and move on. Others will probably take it to their grave. But he needs to do the right thing. Why can't he do what he did for the Orthodox community? That would be the honorable thing to do. But as we know, Andrew Cuomo has never, ever been like his father, Mario, a man of honor.
Last question. If Adams endorses you, would you even want it?
Please, I beg, Eric Adams, do not endorse me. You're a crook. You should have been in jail with Bobby Menendez, Bob Menendez, for your straw donors. So many honorable men and women who worked in the Department of Justice Integrity Unit gave up their jobs, their lifelong jobs of ridding the political system of corruption. Their careers vanquished. A lot of them, Republicans and conservatives, because of what the Trump administration through the DOJ did for Eric Adams. In baseball, now that we're Yankees, Red Sox, Manny Ramirez played for Washington Heights to George Washington. Great ball player, left fielder. He'd hit a home run into the stands in left field in Yankee Stadium as a Boston Red Sox, and the Yankee fans would throw it back. If, perchance, Eric Adams, while staying at another nightclub until 4 in the morning, because that's what he did best, being the nightclub mayor, would it be in a drug-induced psychosis and endorse me? I would throw that endorsement back. I don't want to have anything to do with the man who was responsible for the rise of Zohran Mamdani. If Eric Adams had been a halfway decent mayor, it would have been round 2, Curtis Sliwa, Republican, challenging the incumbent Democratic mayor, Eric Adams. He vanquished that. He had a chance to run against me in a Republican primary. He did a poll. He saw he would get crushed. So for Eric Adams, I give you the international salute. Oofa. Thank you.
That's the direct answer. That's what I like about Curtis. He doesn't walk a tightrope. He'll give you a direct answer, end of story. There's no being very careful. Which means he speaks from the heart. Curious dropping the letter off.
Happening, relevant, and millennial friendly and Gen Z friendly. I'm looking at him as he's up there on the scaffold, and I'm looking at the squeegee, and it's not even a squeegee. God, if you're gonna do AI, and you're gonna plan on putting a squeegee in your head, unless you're ready to stand by the Lincoln Tunnel and fight winter.
That's how that
He
is.
likes it. Yeah, he likes it.
I think so many people
Like it is.
personality.
Just
Yeah,
goes
that's
out there.
nice.
That's it. I mean,
The good parts,
Probably
yeah.
like,
yeah, you
yeah.
gotta
Honest,
be different
direct.
from a
Yeah,
politician.
yeah,
This
you
guy
do.
just
He knows how to talk to people.
Exactly.
Yeah,
He's never
That's the
gonna be
point.
hip and
Open
happening.
communication.
Yeah.
He knows what he's
Yeah, well
doing.
Yeah,
put.
politically, but
Make commercials.
Well, it doesn't matter politically. Because
Maybe
people
make
talk
him
down
a
to you,
kid
except for
if
Curtis.
he
Everybody else
was
talks
you.
down to people.
exactly.
Because
That's
we
the
know
thing, is
he's
the
never
guy
done
tells all
blue
your
collar
good
work.
shit, and nobody's how to say it. But, you know,
Yeah.
it's the truth.
He's
Yeah,
only
that's
worked
it.
with
And
the
that's
boy
it.
in New York
And he
City.
won't dance around your
I'm
question.
gonna
He'll
prevent
directly
him
answer
from
that.
going
You
there.
know? So
He's
I'm
got
glad you
to
see that.
embrace a little Trump.
Yeah. Good way.
Good.
The last video I had with him got 65,000 views. So
Wow.
thanks again for letting me tag along.
Everybody will be happy.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Spread the word.
I will. Thank you.
Curtis.
Curtis, you got a fan. Got a few fans. Well, he'll always chat with you. Again, he's way more accessible than the other candidate. Absolutely. Certainly.
Because these people are in school to become my doctors and my lawyers and my accountants. So as somebody who is Jewish, I'm really happy that you're out here and you're in support. So thank you for what you're doing.
I'm always happy.
And I know after what happened to Charlie, I was terrified to be out here. but you're out here. Thank you.
Well, luckily I survived it.
Oh, right.
From you.
You mind me take a selfie? Thank you.
Where you from originally?
Queens.
What high school do you go to?
I went to Bayside.
Sure.
Yeah.
Biggest auditorium.
Oh, it's huge. The school itself is huge. Like 5,000 people in my class.
You can't hear anybody on the
No,
stage.
you can't. You been inside?
I've given speeches there. The kids were like, couldn't even hear me.
It's crazy. They didn't even give you a microphone?
Well, they wouldn't like that.
Like Rodney, I don't get no respect.
I'll give you my-
Thank you so much. Do you have any other events? Maybe I could like come support.
If you scan that and Bruce that, if you can get her information, we'll keep you in the loop.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you for your
I
support.
wish we did more schools in people my age. We really need it.
Oh no, I know.
Like one of my last Republican friends was like, oh, Jews are insufferable, and that's why they've been getting kicked out of every country in the world, and he's Greek. And I was like, well, what happened in Constantinople?
Right, well,
You want to
remember,
give up Cyprus
of
completely?
course. And the Archbishop is in prison.
Why do they convert every single Orthodox church into a mosque?
But remember, on both sides, the left and the right, there's that opinion.
Everyone has an opinion, but to hate somebody is a crazy opinion.
Yeah.
917.
Want a picture? Got you guys covered.
940.
All right. Absolutely, yeah. I can hold it for you.
Thank you.
Danny.
I got a bunch for you. I got like 8.
Thank you.
So hopefully that'll do.
And what is your name?
Lisa.
Ah, Lisa.
See you guys for the
I like here in Connecticut, Westchester. I love what you do. I appreciate you taking pictures.
for the 500 people watching. This is what's kind of cool about Curtis. He'll stick around. He'll talk with people. I think he's definitely one of the more accessible candidates in that regard. Zohran doesn't do that. Cuomo certainly does not do that. But Curtis will stick around. He'll speak with people, and he's good on the stump, and that's going to matter.
Let me guess what high school contact the magnificent. Bryan High School, right? But you already told me that. I remember.
Good luck to you. Wishing you the best.
Astoria, let me see what high school. Long Island City. But then again, you already told me.
So yeah, you know, this is accessibility. He's the only candidate that'll stop and chat with people. He's never in a rush. Anybody who wants to talk to him can talk to him very easily. And that matters in the campaign trail. This is while Cuomo has had closed events the whole time. Curtis is having a meet and greet tomorrow if you guys want to check out his website. It's in the Times Square area. I believe it's Thursday night. I might even go there. But yeah, again, he's the only one of the accessible events. And he's the only one, if you want to show up and see what he does, what he's about. Hey, I've seen you on Spectrum.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, keep up the good work.
Oh, thank
nice
you.
to meet
Thank
you.
you. What are you streaming live YouTube?
Yeah.
Nice.
Trying to rub two dimes together. Not easy,
Hey, that's
but it's fun.
That's the biz, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I
Still
appreciate it.
streaming?
Yeah, I can mute you though. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's
Focus on New York stuff.
yeah, a little bit all over the place. I'm from New York City. I was gonna go out to Jersey and do some Jersey stuff. Some of the rallies. Also the governor's debate would be interesting.
Yeah.
And then I was gonna go down to DC and do all the interview people outside of the Epstein. Well, outside of the Epstein testimony with Bill and Hillary Clinton. So,
right.
kind of hopping around here and there.
Good.
That's kind of the nice luxury. Is you kind of pick
You can
what's
also-
interesting. Yeah.
Hustle, kind of figure out
Yeah.
what's happening in the moment that
Yeah.
gets attention. What doesn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Thank you. But no, I'm jealous of you guys. This Curtis, of course, is the easiest press list to get on. The other ones is a challenge.
I'm not even on some of the press lists.
Oh wow, yeah. So they.
I'm always asking.
So over that, that's funny.
Put me on?
I didn't even know this. So once you get on, you're not necessarily permanently on. Like they'll send you something for a week, and then the next
Well,
week.
the little secret is, and it comes from government too, is that they have tiers of lists.
Interesting.
So,
I didn't know that.
I used to cover transit in the MTA. You were at the core. You got the core emails that you were in the press core.
Okay.
And then there were the wider emails that would go out. I mean, all
Interesting.
emails go out,
It's
but
like
it's
right.
like when you get it, because they're sensitive to your air times, your deadlines. And
Right.
you wanna
So
get
different
something
tiers,
out.
different urgency,
something
yeah.
like different little
Huh.
email lists.
Note to self, I appreciate that. Because this whole thing has been based on what is accessible. Because you don't have the usual press stuff. Yeah, you got me thinking. I appreciate that. Yeah, interesting
And
to think about.
they keep things tight.
Yeah,
Cuomo
definitely.
sometimes,
Yes, he's a tightest. Zohran has a few public things where you can show up.
He's tight too.
Yeah, he is.
Gotta,
Yeah.
some for good reasons. You have to
Yeah.
RSVP to get an address because
Right.
you know you don't
Right.
want
Security.
you
Yeah.
don't want something to say.
Yeah. That's a big headache. Well, thank you for the food for thought. I appreciate it. Good to meet you.
Good luck.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Please do subscribe. That's it for the day. Subscribe to me for more mayoral coverage. I'll be in New Jersey covering Jack Citrelli as well for a town hall that he'll have on Monday, and then I'll be in New Brunswick for the governor's debate to ask people what they thought immediately after it ends. So yeah, you know, I think Curtis is a solid candidate. I'm a weird guy. I think there's some good things about Zohran too, but I think he's the most authentic New Yorker. He's the only one that could stop and chat and really get to know people in a kind of a unique way, and has the most competent city experience, but who's not corrupt. I think we need somebody with decades of experience to handle the city, but also somebody who isn't corrupt. You know, so I think he's kind of the best of both worlds, and I like him. I'm not a hardcore MAGA guy, but I like him because he's not necessarily pro-Trump. So it makes me a little more comfortable to vote for him, if nothing else. You take care. It makes me a little more comfortable to vote for him, if nothing else. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. I'll read some of the comments. Amy, yeah, sorry, I've been meaning to. I'll try to connect with your friends. My email is dodge.landisman@gmail.com. There's only so much time I have. I'll be in Nutley, Amy. I'll be in Nutley on Monday. So I don't know if you're nearby. I'll be in Nutley on Monday, and then I'll be in New Brunswick on Wednesday. I'm probably spending the night. I'll spend 2 nights in New Brunswick. All right, we're gonna read any of these fucking things. Jesus Christ, guys. This is an unmodded chat, guys. This is the only free unmodded chat. Somebody says he hates America. I don't know who you say hates America. Tragically, Canadian system, no, but NYC with the communists destroying the Euro culture and history in Toronto. Needs to get gone, says a Torontonian. You know, I gotta say an argument about that. Everybody's gonna be mad at their immigrants. Everybody like signals out Hispanics here, and then you go to Canada. I've been to Canada 12 times. You go to Canada, there aren't any Hispanics, and people still get mad because they're Indians. So, food for thought, I guess. So he says Mamdani hates America. I haven't heard that before. I don't think he does, but he's pretty, you know, he's extreme. I'm more in the middle, you know. I think Curtis is kind of, you know, it's funny. Curtis is very bombastic, but he's also kind of a moderate in a lot of ways. Not pro-Trump, independent, is against, you know, wants to fix immigration in a serious way, but doesn't feel the need for the ICE assaults and ICE raids and the thing and that. So there's a lot, you know, he's the most independent thinker, least ideological, and I think to have a non-ideological mayor is a good thing. You guys, please subscribe.
Your mic's getting major interference. Let's just go to the cards and get you another one.
I guess it's going on. All right, so that was the rub. Please subscribe, guys. Somebody says he wants to ruin this country. Cool. What's up, Dodge? Hey, Bunny, nice to have you. Racist scum in the chat. I agree with that, River. But that's why, you know, that's why my chat is open. It's unique. People should say what they want to say, and you can see how horrific it is. And the way you see how horrific it is if you let them say it. Also, give me a goddamn super chat. We've had 1,000 people watching. Not one fucker is giving me a super chat. I will spread my cheeks in full view if you give me at least sucky $5. Sucky is $5. I will spread my cheek for $4. So give me a super chat if you want sucky $5. Also, give me a super chat. Subscribe to my OF. Ginger pubes are on my OF. I'm kidding. Zohran won't be able to do but do send me a super chat. Maybe I will spread my cheeks. Zohran won't be able to do anything he wants, and if he does, you will see NYC go to shit worse than they have under Reg Dem control. All Dem states look like third world countries, says somebody in Arabic. Cool story. Epstein files, stop wars, day one. I will be also in DC covering Epstein, getting the Hillary and Clinton and Bill Clinton testimony. I will be outside where they're testifying. Obviously, there's going to be big gatherings, protests, stuff like that. Epstein's the most important thing, eh? So I will be there. Oh, you a Democrat? I'm not, actually. I'm neither. I am one of the 0.4% of Americans who voted for Libertarian Chase Oliver. so I'm wary of both parties. I'm one of the few who actually voted libertarian, but I'm left libertarian. So. Spreading cheeks over the government is a communist way. Well, give me a super chat and we can make it capitalist. Or the government's going to have to give you money. So if you want to remain a capitalist society, give me a goddamn super chat, fucker. There's even more of a reason I love cats. Yeah, Curtis loves cats too, obviously. Have you heard anything on Charlie Kirk evidence? I have not. I might go to Utah to cover that trial.
They make you do that now. City line, right? Yeah. New York. One big slap.
FC, good job on you quoting Thatcher. Cool, Margaret Thatcher, gotta love her. Voted for who is going to do the work. Word. I don't like a two-party system either. Cool, I mean, we agree on that. People are saying LOL. I don't know if you're laughing with me or at me. I laugh at myself all the time. I hate myself. Teresa, you must smell like kitty litter. That's not nice. I really shouldn't read this chat. It's horrifying. You guys have... This chat has made me lose faith in the entire humanity of the world. Who cares about the bigot chuckle knit? No. Oh, I'm not going to read what you actually said. Oh, Lord. Can I vote for you? Oh, thank you, Leah. That's so sweet. Oh, thank you, Leah. Leah MVP. Also, damn, girl, you're kind of fine, by the way. Thank you, Leah. And I like that dress. Red's a good color. Like that satin burgundy red is like, it's probably my favorite color. Thank you, thank you. That's very kind. Thank you for the super chat. You're the best. If anybody wants to join Leah. Why do you hate yourself? I'm kidding. I'm just being silly. I'm modest. I'm scared for New York if Mamdani gets it. A lot of people are. I think he'll be less crazy than people think. But I'll be at some Mamdani events as well. He's tougher to get to. Very tougher. Wait until Zohran treats you like shit. What if I like to be treated like shit? What if it turns me on, huh? Brent says New York needs Jesus bad. Gotta love Jesus. Jesus for president. Alright, guys. I'm gonna leave soon. Candace Owen is going scourge earth on the Kirk murder. She has some crazy new info. She is shouting conspiracy. That's an interesting aspect of everything. She is definitely shouting conspiracy. I will be in Wilmington once the Brigitte Macron is Brigitte Macron a man. Is she packing? I don't think it matters if she is or isn't. I don't think she is. But anyway, I'll be at the Is She Packing lawsuit, Candace Owens versus Brigitte Macron in Wilmington, Delaware. So also subscribe if you want to see trial coverage of that. I'll probably be one of the only YouTubers covering that, I'd imagine. So I don't know. It's just so stupid, but that's kind of fun. New York needs a mental asylum. Word, I need a mental asylum. Somebody should 5150 me. I'll give you my address. I'm kidding. I'm going to dox myself. I'm easy to find. So you just look up my name, which is, nobody else has my name. People deserve society they allow. Candace is correct. All right, Bill, keep saying that. All right, guys, I love you. Please subscribe. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the high views. The tops was 1,000, so I'm thinking we got like 60,000, 50,000 views in total. So you guys are nice. And one person give me a fucking stupid chat, you bitches. I'm kidding. That's okay. Just subscribe. Just subscribe. Do subscribe. Where you live in New York. Mew York. Mew. Remember Pokemon Mew? Remember that? I remember Jinx. That was racist. In New York, I live in Hudson Valley, an hour north of the city. But I travel a lot. I live closer to Canada than NYC. You must be in like Plattsburgh or something. Upper East? No, Garrison, New York. I'm poor, and I don't make any money off this, so give me a fucking super chat. But I stay at my mom's house. My mom's house, she's in Rome like 8 months a year, so it's an empty house, but it's a schlep to get to. It's in Garrison, which is near Peekskill, just north of West. It's Hudson Valley, but it's like the beginning of, it's really north, just north, it's pretty much Westchester. It's northern Westchester. So it's a schlep. So, I mean, y'all haven't even given me money for a fucking train ticket. So I'm gonna have to give you my OF link and send you some of my ginger pubes. I'm kidding. Or am I? Where's Henry? He had to leave. He's checking out law schools. Wall Street's moving. That's a nice area. It is. It's pretty. It's a lot of hiking trails, and I like the hiking trails and stuff. Oswego. I know Oswego. Near Batavia and all that. That is up there. Oh, Christina, where in the Hudson Valley are you? Cool. And by the way, guys, Dutchess County, stop saying Dutchess County is upstate. Like, if somebody has a respect for Buffalo, Rochester, Like, stop saying that Dutchess County is upstate. Dutchess County is not upstate. Dutchess County is exurban New York City. It's still part of the regional part of New York, because New York is that big, of New York City. Upstate begins in Albany. It begins in the capital region north. Fight me. Harriman, Texas. Oh, you're okay, cool. Harriman, right where the Woodbury Commons is and all that. Mohawk Valley, cool. We're to Indian Point. Wow, interesting. Because it's already turning into shithole, so he says. Please support the work, Dodge. That's sweet, Don. Thank you. Hit the like and subscribe, and let's get him out there. Please do hit the like and subscribe. Choke and racist clown doesn't know chit, acting like he knows about other states. What? Cities. Somebody's telling me in the chat. Cities, when Google search tell top 10 worst states, taking my damn head alert, 9 out of 10 are red states. Yeah, there are a lot of dangerous places that are red states. Perfect example of why not to be liberal. Okay, well, I don't know what that means. There's Western New York, upstate in the city. Yeah, fair. It's a debate. All right, guys. I really should leave. Love you all. Bye-bye. Please subscribe. Please.